Coming up live at 2:30, Hurricane Milton is now the concern heading up the Gulf Coast. New details on what's to come and how Floridians are preparing for the worst.
And Family Weekend was in full effect at Siena College. We'll highlight all the festivities that took place with parents and their students.
Plus, Vice President Harris slams former President Trump about his abortion views. This just days before the Supreme Court denied President Biden's appeal in the Texas abortion case. And
Siena hosted the CSA Car Show on Saturday. We'll take you there. SCTV Live at 2:30 begins right now.
Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Tommy Kane.
And I'm Ethan Smith. We'll start today with breaking new details on Hurricane Milton.
The Category 5 storm is making its final march towards Florida's central Gulf Coast. Over 20 million people across Florida are under hurricane and tropical storm alerts.
SCTV's Ivan Rodriguez was in Tampa this morning as police urged residents to evacuate.
Milton approaches. We're beginning to see some of that rain from the storm's outer bands, and officials are urging people at this point to either evacuate or take shelter.
A local emergency currently exists. Quickly secure your home or business and safely evacuate the area.
Hurricane Milton is barreling towards Florida, and the window to evacuate is rapidly closing.
The traffic's already getting very bad. People are just trying to get out of here.
According to the National Hurricane Center, tropical storm conditions are expected to start impacting the west coast of Florida around midday Wednesday, with landfall expected late Wednesday or early Thursday. The storm is one of the strongest Atlantic hurricanes ever, with much of Florida's Gulf Coast at significant risk of catastrophic hurricane-force winds and flooding rain. Despite the risks, staff at hospitals around the area prepared to do what's needed to continue providing patient care.
I'm a little nervous. We're going to be taking care of the kiddos that come in and just kind of doing our best here.
Crews at Tampa General set up their aqua fence built to withstand a storm surge of up to 15 feet. The hospital says it will stay open during the storm. Massive amounts of debris and trash left over from Hurricane Helene still line many streets and driveways, despite around-the-clock efforts to clear it out in recent days. And with wind speeds expected to be close to 120 miles per hour, that debris can turn into deadly projectiles.
That's the biggest threat right now, and there's just so much of it that it is impossible to clean it all up before the hurricane hits.
We now know that official forecasts calling for landfall as a Category 4 hurricane. In Tampa, Florida, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
Former President Trump is attacking Vice President Harris for her response efforts to Hurricane Helene.
Trump spoke out on the campaign trails in Wisconsin as he looks ahead to a potential re-election. Here's what he had to say about the vice president and her view on the hurricane.
Harris has left them stranded. This is the worst response to a storm or a catastrophe or a hurricane that we've ever seen, ever. Probably worse than Katrina, and that's hard to beat, right?
With Hurricane Milton now in full sight, Biden and Harris will look to push for relief efforts in the Florida Gulf Coast area. President Biden calls Trump a liar after he criticized the Biden administration.
Biden took to social media and fired back at the former president. The Washington Post showed support for Biden and his use of FEMA relief money. Biden claims Trump misused relief funds during his time in office. A new decision by the Supreme Court puts a halt to the Biden administration's plans in the Texas abortion case.
The case focuses in on emergency abortions for hospitals in Texas. Abortion policies become controversial between states and parties. Vice President Harris spoke out about abortion and took a shot at the former president on his viewpoints.
So he who, when he was president, hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade. And they did just as he intended, and there are now 20 states with Trump abortion bans, including bans that make no exception for rape or incest, which we just discussed, which means that you're telling a survivor of a crime of a violation to their body they don't have a right to make a decision about what happens to their body next, which is immoral.
Harris fired back at former President Trump on the Call Her Daddy podcast. You can tune into the extended interview with the vice president on Spotify. Right now, we're learning new information after former New York Governor David Paterson and his stepson were attacked over the weekend.
Police say they've arrested 4 people in connection with the attack, including a 12 and 13-year-old boy. This happened Friday night near their New York City home. Police say they've also arrested a 34-year-old woman and 40-year-old man on gang assault charges. Patterson says his stepson tried to fight them off, but the attack continued.
Holding off as many other people as he could, but then it became 4-1, 5-1, 6-1, and he was knocked to the ground and dazed by the experience. I got punched in the face a couple of times, and I got punched on the shoulder.
A spokesperson for Patterson says the former governor and his stepson had previous interactions with their attackers. They're both expected to be okay.
Family Weekend kicked off with trivia at the SSU and fondue on the paddock.
Families gathered to test their knowledge on a range of topics. We sent SCTV's Amber Fisher to capture the fun.
This past weekend, Siena College celebrated Family Weekend with a variety of events for students to enjoy along with their families. We went to trivia night at the SSU to get a glimpse of the fun. Everyone in the Siena community was invited to create a team and join in on the game. Trivia was filled with questions on a range of topics, including Siena fun facts, movies, and TV theme songs. Prizes went to the top 2 teams with just a point difference between first and second place.
I'm a senior, so this has never happened to me before. I'm so excited. When they called our names for the Final Four, I was like so surprised that we won. I was like, oh my God.
Trivia night is just one of the many events held during Family Weekend. Family Weekend is meant to connect parents and relatives to the Siena campus and allow them to enjoy all that being a Saint has to offer. But if you missed out on Trivia night, don't worry. There's a Jeopardy night coming up on October 10th. With SCTV, I'm Amber Fisher.
Thank you, Amber. This weekend, Siena College hosted its annual Family Weekend featuring a number of events. One of the most popular was the Blessing of the Animals.
Families gathered on Saturday to bring their pets. The Blessing Up featured pets of all kinds, with dogs, cats, and even a hedgehog. Siena's own Father Larry Anderson blessed his first python. It was a standout event full of fun on campus. An exciting Family Weekend was capped off with a fireworks show on Saturday night.
Siena College welcomes families to enjoy a Family Weekend every fall. Over 100 students came out with their parents to enjoy the fireworks under the moonlight. After the fireworks, some students and their parents made their way to the MAC for bingo night. And fireworks and pets weren't the only sight to see this past weekend. The Commuter Student Association hosted the annual car show on campus.
People gathered to attend this special event. It provided excitement and a chance for people to show off their cars. The car show serves as a great way to represent the commuters of Siena College and bring the community together.
It's our bright life and joy, honestly. We love doing the car show every year. It takes so much hard work from the event coordinator. His name is EJ Cabahug. I'm going to give him a shout out. I was an event coordinator for CSA last year, and I also ran the car show last year, and I know how much hard work it takes.
The crisp fall day brought in a big turnout from the local community. The event held over 150 cars and one-of-a-kind vehicles. Siena also had some delicious food-related events to offer.
Saints had the chance to gather at the paddock and share some s'mores. This is a great opportunity to socialize and enjoy some delicious snacks. The festivity and fire on this fall night provide a great atmosphere for students to enjoy.
Definitely. Yeah. That's how we all met, our friend group at the first one during orientation, with the karaoke night. We all went, and that was our first hangout as a group. So yeah.
During a fall season full of great weather, the sweet and sugary night around the fire was a great way to put smiles on faces and bring students together. The Commuter Student Association gathered to hold a lunch for all Siena Saints.
The lunch provided food and an opportunity for students to network. CSA holds lunches on the first Monday of every free period, every month. This week, Siena gears up for its 2-day climate symposium.
The staff is working hard to ensure that everything is prepared for this important event. Students from all fields will be able to experience discussions on climate change and other important topics. For those looking to attend, it will be held in the MAC and available virtually tomorrow on October 10th and Friday, October 11th. Still to come, a new look in the Siena College TV Studio. SCTV's Christian Hicks sits down with Kelly O'Donnell to discuss the history and growth of broadcast journalism on campus.
Then, Mike Zabrowski and Dom Famiano recap Game 2 of the ALDS, plus a recap from Week 5 of the NFL. All this and more coming up after the break.
Welcome back. I'm Christian Hicks. Siena journalism and communication students are gaining more opportunities with the New Look TV Studio. The Siena College TV Club, which has been gone for a long time, has been reintroduced to students as a place where they can work on their own creative projects and gain experience in all aspects of television production. Joining me today is Professor Kelly O'Donnell, the Assistant Vice President of Communications and Public Affairs. Professor O'Donnell, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So just for some people who in the audience who don't know, can you give a little bit of background on your experience in the journalism field?
Yeah, that was my first career. Feels like a lifetime ago, but I was a professional journalist for many years, primarily sports journalism. My background, my degree is in broadcast journalism. I always wanted to get into sports reporting, so I had a chance to do that for a long time as my career full time. I started my career at a station in Dothan, Alabama, as a sports anchor for a CBS station in Dothan. I worked in Miami for a long time and covered soccer down there, and then more recently worked here in the Capital Region for CBS 6. WRGB as a sports anchor and reporter. And at the same time, while I was at WRGB, I had an opportunity to start teaching here at Siena as an adjunct instructor in the communications program, and I've had a chance to watch it flourish from a journalism minor to this amazing program that we have now.
Sure, yeah, and just bouncing off of that, you teach a lot of journalism classes now, a lot of sports production, newsroom production. How does the new TV studio, the New Look, enhance some of the content that you use in your classes to teach your students?
It's awesome, isn't it? Right?
Yeah.
You're enjoying it?
I am.
And I'm sure your classmates are as well. This is a professional studio,
yeah.
Right? You can go to any television studio, certainly in a market the size of Albany, or smaller, even larger, and not find anything any nicer than this. The same equipment that the professionals are using, the set looks as nice here as you're going to find anywhere else. And Siena is all about experiential learning, right? I mean, that's how students learn. You have fun doing it that way. It's one thing to say, I went to college and I studied journalism and here's my GPA, but that's not what employers are looking for, particularly in this field. Show me that you know how to do it, that you have done it. Well, I mean, that's what this newscast is all about. And so certainly now in this television studio, you have the resources to be able to put it together.
For sure, yeah. So you had a lot of practice opportunities when you were at Syracuse to work in the journalism field. How important is it that you jumpstart on that early for Siena students who want to work in the production field?
Yeah, it's about reps. It's about getting opportunities to actually do what you want to do. And that's what this newscast is all about. I mean, look, you're providing a service for your classmates in the Siena community to be able to share the amazing stories that are happening on campus. And while you're doing that, it isn't just about getting credit. It's not just about a grade, but it's about this repetition of these opportunities to write stories every single week and get in front of a camera and produce a newscast in the same way that the professionals are doing it. And it makes you so much better at what you're doing so that when you graduate, you're ready to jump right into the workforce.
Mm-hmm. And Siena is a good school for advertising to their students. Do you believe that using these new facilities to advertise to students who might be interested in journalism field, it will help increase the number of applications?
I think that's a great point. Yeah, absolutely. And there's a reason why during open house events when prospective students are on campus that we want to give those students a chance to do what our students are doing. I talked about experiential learning, and there are other places on campus where you can do that in other labs, but certainly this shows really well, right? I mean, the TV studio is beautiful, so bring a prospective student in here and say it's not just about learning, but it's about doing, then I think that this is a great showcase for prospective students, and hopefully this communications program is going to continue to grow.
For sure. This is the first time in a long time that Siena College has had a student-ran live newscast.
Yeah.
What was your initial reaction when you saw that this show was going to be produced?
Well, I can tell you my initial reaction for the first show last week is we were, you guys were 10 seconds to air, and I was literally holding my breath, right? Because I've worked in live television for so long. I know how hard it is. And when it was your first week and your first opportunity to actually see it succeed in spectacular fashion, I was proud, right? I've had you in class before. I've had a lot of your classmates in class before. And to see you guys doing it and excelling it's amazing.
For sure. And what does the future of the journalism department look like in your eyes?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think we want to continue to grow, right, across all four majors that are part of the communications program, but then specifically within journalism, what I'm looking forward to seeing is students like yourself and your classmates doing these jobs in the real world so that we can show prospective students and current students, hey, look at Christian on TV. Let me show you what he's doing right now. I remember a couple of years ago when we had him in class, right? So really I think that's going to help this program take off, and we've got graduates who are doing it right now, really exceeding in the workforce.
All right, that's all we have for today on time, but thank you so much, Kelly, for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
If you want to watch this full interview after the show, you'll be able to find it on the Siena College Communications page on YouTube. You can also find the interview on the SCTV Instagram page at sienacollege.tv. Make sure you follow and subscribe while you're there. On the way, pumpkin painting on campus will take you to the event that brings out the artists and everyone. We'll be right back.
This week, Siena had its second biology seminar take place. Dr. Casey Coombs took the podium to discuss the communication habits of songbirds and how climate change is affecting them. Coombs earned a PhD in ecology and evolutionary biology in 2021. Coombs is an expert in this field and is currently an assistant professor of biology at Skidmore College.
The Hennepin Lounge hosted a pumpkin painting event on Monday night. With Halloween approaching, students got to put their artistic abilities to the test. Residents had the opportunity to decorate pumpkins to take back to their dorm rooms. The event was organized by the community assistants of the building.
Still to come on Siena Sports on SCTV, Mike Zabrowski and Dom Famiano take us to the Dog Pound.
Coming up in sports, the second game in the ALDS held a disappointing result for the Yankees.
Plus, Monday Night Football between the Chiefs and Saints, Derek Carr looks to end Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs' undefeated start. Sports is next on SCTV, live at 2:30.
Hello, I'm Mike Zabrowski.
And I'm Dom Famiano, and welcome to the Dog Pound. Today we're going to bring an update on the exciting sports events that happened this week.
Starting in the Bronx, the Yankees and the Royals met on Monday for Game 2 of the American League Divisional Series after taking Game 1 in a back-and-forth contest. The Yankees looked to build on that Game 1 and did so early, taking an early 1-0 lead, courtesy of an RBI single from Giancarlo Stanton. This would give the Yankees a lead they would soon give up, though, courtesy of a home run from Royals star catcher and captain Salvador Perez. Sent deep into left field, Perez's latest home run serves as an exclamation point to his stellar resurgent season and yet another case for why he's going to be a surefire Hall of Famer. The Royals would continue the rally with a 2-out base hit from third baseman Michael Garcia, which would put the Royals ahead 4-1, capping off a big rally that would not be answered until the bottom of the 9th inning from third baseman Jazz Chisholm Jr. hitting a solo home run that would draw the deficit to 2. While exciting and giving the crowd something to cheer for, this home run wouldn't be enough as the Royals would close out the game, sealing a 4-2 victory. This team's now head to Kansas City for Game 3 with the series evened up.
Now on to the NFL, where the New Orleans Saints took on the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs looked to continue their undefeated season, while the Saints needed to bounce back from 2 straight losses. The Chiefs are dealing with injuries on the offensive side of the ball, so they needed the defense to step up, and that they did, with safety Brian Cook making an acrobatic play to intercept a wild throw from Derek Carr. The turnover led to a Kareem Hunt rushing touchdown to give the Chiefs a 7-0 lead. The Saints were down, but definitely not out, as Derek Carr and Rashid Shaheed connect on a 43-yard strike to get New Orleans on the board. After that, late in the third quarter, with the Chiefs in the red zone, Patrick Mahomes attempts to hit Juju Smith-Schuster, who couldn't hold on as the ball fell straight into the arms of Saints defensive tackle Kalen Saunders for the interception, giving the Saints new life. In the fourth, Carr would find tight end Foster Moreau for a 6-yard touchdown to make it a 3-point game. Kansas City would answer right back, though, as a direct snap to Travis Kelce in the red zone resulted in a handoff to rookie wideout Xavier Worthy for the score to extend their lead. The Chiefs would go on to take this one 26-13, move to 5-0 on the season. The Saints fall to 2-3, suffering their 3rd straight defeat. In other news around the NFL, the Dallas Cowboys and Pittsburgh Steelers faced off in a unique Sunday night game that featured a nearly 2-hour weather delay. The end result was a last-second Cowboys victory.
Meanwhile, the New York Giants secured an improbable victory over the Seattle Seahawks, blocking and returning a game-tying field goal attempt. The Giants secured a much-needed victory, 29-20. Speaking of Seattle, they kick off Week 6 tomorrow night in a divisional matchup against the San Francisco 49ers. That'll do it for sports. I'm Mike Zabrowski.
And I'm Dom Famiano. Tommy, Ethan, back to you.
Thank you, Dom and Mike. Tommy, history has been made in the NBA.
Los Angeles Lakers star LeBron James and his son Bronny James Jr. took the court together in their first preseason game. They are the first father and son duo in NBA history to play in the league together, let alone on the same team. LeBron James will begin his 22nd season, while 20-year-old Bronny will kick off year 1 of his career. Still to come, it's Fat Bear Week at Katmai National Park. A live look at all the fluffy giants when we come back.
Every year, Alaskan brown bears compete to see who got the chunkiest.
Fat Bear Week is a staple every fall, and unfortunately, there was a late start after one bear was killed by another competitor. Fat Bear Week is a single elimination tournament where 12 bears face off to promote conservation awareness. Wildlife fans vote on which bear chunked up the most for winter.
Here is this year's bracket. 128 Grazer was just crowned champion last night. She wins back-to-back Fat Bear Week titles and is this year's champion by a landslide.
Yeah, so big news out of Fat Bear Week this year. Four-time champion 480 Otis actually did not come out of hibernation this year, possibly due to moving their hunting ground. So we missed out on a big-time player this year.
That's interesting. Did you know that Latham just had a black bear sighting right near the Red Robin down the street from our very own SCTV Center?
That's crazy. I had a lot of black bear sightings by my house at home, so it makes me feel a little closer to home, you know?
Absolutely.
Especially with all these chunked up bears over in Katmai National Park. I just really enjoy able to click onto the live streams and sort of take a look to see what bears looking the chunkiest.
It's really relaxing. Gives me a lot of zen.
It's really unfortunate to see what happened to fan favorite 402. Really sad to hear that she was drowned by 469 Patches, which unfortunately disqualified 469 Patches from the tournament. That will do it for SCTV Live at 2:30.
You can follow us on Instagram at Siena.tv or follow us at the Siena Communications YouTube program.
Thanks, and have a great night.